My husband, who had been in a vegetative state, suddenly woke up. But he kept it from me. Every night, he would get up and secretly transfer money to his ex-girlfriend using my phone. The next day, after I left for work, he would have sex with his ex-girlfriend in our home. He said, "Let the old hag make money to support us," and at night she even massages and bathes me. I could never get enough of this life. After learning the truth, I neither cried nor made a fuss. Because the doctor once told me, once he wakes up, be sure not to engage in strenuous exercise. Otherwise, it will definitely lead to motor dysfunction and eventually paralysis. That day, I had a sudden whim to buy myself an expensive bag. It had only been 6 months since our wedding when my husband Mason became a vegetable. I took care of him wholeheartedly for 2 years, and I am really exhausted. So treating myself a little isn't too much to ask. After all, it's money I worked hard to earn. But when I went to pay, I found that my bank card balance was insufficient. Strange, I can't possibly be down to less than 13,000, can I? I'm usually very frugal. To take care of Mason, I rarely spend money recklessly. But where did all the money go? I took out my phone and checked my expenses over the past few months. There were no unnecessary expenditures at all. I could be considered extremely thrifty, so no matter how I calculate it, the numbers just don't add up. So I went to the bank and printed out a statement. The bank clerk said, "Nowadays, very few people print out their transaction records, especially you young folks." A chill ran through me, an ominous feeling rising unbidden. Soon, I spotted the problem on the transaction statement. Every night at midnight, my mobile banking would consistently transfer money to an unfamiliar account. The account holder turned out to be Mason's ex-girlfriend, Luna. This is too strange. Could I have been sleepwalking? But even so, I don't know her account details. How could I have transferred money to her in a dream? 500 each time, and it has been going on for nearly half a month. This account has received transfers totaling 8,000 from me. Doesn't she find it strange herself? Could it be that, like me, she's not very good at managing money? But I clearly heard Mason complain before. My ex-girlfriend is very meticulous about every penny. You should learn from her and change your wasteful habits. So someone must have deliberately transferred my money to Luna. A shock ran through my heart. Could it be Mason? But he was clearly still in a vegetative state. No, I have to get to the bottom of this. Maybe there's a thief in my house, secretly using my computer to steal my money. The next day, I settled Mason down, got dressed, and prepared to go to work. I opened the door, suddenly struck by a thought, and stopped in my tracks. I checked, and last night my phone automatically transferred 500 yuan to Luna. Then, my home must not be safe. So I closed the door and hid the shoes I usually wear. I sneaked into the guest room. I left the guest room door ajar, my eyes fixed intently on the doorway. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, the fingerprint lock on my door was expertly opened by someone. Could this person hurt Mason? I was so scared that my hair stood on end, and I instinctively gripped my plastic slippers tightly. I never imagined that every day after I left, my husband would have to face a stranger at home. At this moment, I was filled with dread. I made up my mind, if this person dared to enter the bedroom, I would fight him to the end. I squinted, keeping a close watch on the person who came in. But when I clearly saw who it was, my world shattered. The person who came in was none other than Luna. How could she know my home password? And how was she so skilled? Just as I was about to question this, the bedroom door creaked open. I turned my face away in surprise and saw Mason smiling, stumbling as he dragged his feet out of the bedroom. He was already awake. And Luna seemed to have known all along. She rushed into his arms with a shy smile. Mason's legs went weak, and he staggered, leaning against the wall. He tenderly stroked her hair. "Did you get the 500 I sent you yesterday? Is it enough for you to buy some little cakes?" Luna nodded. "Mason, you're so kind, I love you." My heart felt like it was being stabbed countless times. My breath caught, and my throat was gripped tightly by an invisible hand. Mason pressed a kiss to Luna's forehead. I'll transfer you another 500 tonight. Luna looked up. Aren't you afraid your old hag will find out? Mason laughed disdainfully. Her? She has no concept of money at all, she doesn't even know how much she has. When she's out of money, she'll naturally find a way. So don't worry about me not having money to give you. Besides, she's not like you, you're smart and lovely, she's foolish and dull. Luna was so amused by him that she trembled with delight. But Mason couldn't hold back his urge to express himself. I shouldn't have married her. If your parents hadn't opposed us back then and let me marry you, I definitely wouldn't have ended up like a vegetable. Luna sobbed. Mason, what will we do about our future? Mason pulled her close again. Aren't we doing great right now? Letting the old hag make money to support us, and at night she even massages and bathes me. I could live this life forever and never get enough. Luna wriggled all over. You bad boy. Ha ha ha. Mason lifted her chin, his eyes dark and unreadable. Come on, I've been holding back for 2 years. I can't wait to devour you alive. Then, the two of them made love right there in front of me. I bit down hard on my lip, a metallic taste spreading from the corner of my mouth. Tears washed over my face, blurring my vision. But my heart grew clear. Mason, you deserve a terrible death. But death is a release. I want you alive, I want you to suffer. I secretly hid in the corner and continued to observe. Luna brought Mason a lot of food. Mason ate heartily. But they didn't know that a patient who has just awakened from a vegetative state shouldn't engage in intense exercise or eat recklessly like this. The doctor once told me, once he wakes up, be sure to avoid intense exercise. Otherwise, it will definitely lead to motor dysfunction and eventually paralysis. The corner of my mouth twitched as I forced a bitter smile. I waited for 2 years, every minute and every second hoping for his awakening. Hoping he would cherish me, love me, hoping he would run his fingers through my messy hair and say to me with tenderness, Sienna, you've been through so much these past 2 years. Sienna, I love you. But what did I get in return? A complete mess, utterly disgusting. I wiped away my tears and secretly took photos of their lovemaking. Then, I cropped out Mason's figure and blurred the background, leaving only Luna exposed. I called a detective agency. Hello, could you help me investigate a woman's husband? The woman's name is Luna. The detective agency quickly sent me all the contact information and background details of Luna's husband. Her husband, Dylan, is a boxing coach who has won countless championships in various competitions. But he is a very jealous man who doesn't allow anyone to get close to his wife. What would he think if he saw the photo in my hand? I had the detective agency send him the photo I held. Then I waited quietly for the flowers to bloom. That night, I pretended to come home from work and walked into the bedroom. As usual, I greeted Mason. Honey, I'm home. Did you miss me? Feeling lonely all by yourself? I'll give you a massage and a bath later. I stared at Mason, his eyes tightly shut. I noticed the corners of his mouth twitching upward involuntarily, then immediately returning to normal. I was filled with hatred, but I still had to keep up the act. I pulled a bath towel from my backpack and then pushed Mason into the bathroom. I stripped off his clothes and patted his belly. Honey, look what I bought. I heard this kind of bath is super comfortable. You haven't tried it before, right? I even learned how to scrub properly. Today, I'm going to take good care of you, so you have to be a good boy. I deliberately turned up the water temperature a bit. The moment the hot water touched Mason's skin, his toes twitched involuntarily. I exclaimed, oh my. Honey, am I seeing things? Are you awake? Are you really awake? I shook him frantically, crying out as I shook him, honey. If you wake up, you have to tell me. I really don't want to make money alone anymore. It's so hard to earn money now, work is so exhausting. Please, I beg you, can you wake up and take care of me? Please. But Mason was like a dead pig, completely unresponsive, motionless. I pushed him hard, excitedly. With a dull thud, he fell face down onto the cold floor. Yet his body still showed no reaction. Even stunned actors aren't this good. Oh dear. Sorry, honey, boo-hoo, I'm just too excited, I'll pull you up right now. I dug my nails into his flesh, placing him back onto the mobile plastic bed. Then I drenched him from head to toe with hot water. Summoning all my strength, I began scrubbing his body. When I reached his lower body, I pressed harder. Muttering as I scrubbed, "Your parents always want me to have a child, they firmly believe a vegetative person still has function. You don't know, do you, honey? They say I'm useless, that I can't support you. So here, I'm going to activate you properly. I believe that one day, you definitely can." I flicked him twice and noticed his Adam's apple moving up and down. His Achilles tendon also tensed painfully. But he still refused to open his eyes, still refused to face me directly. So I was more than happy to look the other way. That night he suffered so much. His whole body was rubbed raw with red streaks. I complained to him, nagging, "This bath towel is no good. Tomorrow I'll go buy 2 upgraded ones." The hairs on his body instantly stood on end. At midnight, he sneaked out of bed again and quietly picked up my phone. He nudged me to make sure I was asleep, then started whispering curses at me. "Ugly hag. How dare you treat me like this? Today, I'm going to spend all your money." That day, he transferred the last 5,000 from my bank card to Luna. Only then did he angrily return to his own bed. In the darkness, I smiled. He would never have guessed that I had changed my bank card. I linked my mother-in-law's payroll card to my Alipay account. That card contained the special funds my mother-in-law gave me to buy nutritional supplements for him. Every month, my mother-in-law would check the account, afraid that I might be embezzling. Now it's all set. In a couple of days when the accounts are checked, there's going to be big trouble. The next day, I installed a tiny pinhole camera inside the guest room door handle core. Luna is very cautious, every time she searches thoroughly around the bedroom. She's afraid that one day I might act on a whim and install surveillance in the house. So every time she came, she would check everything first. That day, as usual, she came to the house to meet Mason secretly. Mason was sore all over and angrily told her, "Sienna suddenly insisted on scrubbing me. She scrubbed me until my whole body was burning with pain. She even flicked my private parts." But Luna didn't even bother to feel sorry for him, instead, she pouted and asked reproachfully, "She scrubbed you? Humph. You two didn't do anything else, did you?" Mason saw that she was jealous and actually became happier. I don't have any feelings for her at all. Even if sparks flew between us, I would still be a vegetable. This made Luna laugh. "So you sent me 5,000 yuan yesterday to punish her?" Mason tilted his head indifferently, as if he had done something particularly impressive. Luna kissed him on the cheek. "Baby, you're amazing." I held up my phone and witnessed another indescribable scene. But at that moment, the front door of my house was being loudly pounded on. "Open the door. Sienna, hurry up and open the door." It was my father-in-law and mother-in-law. Why were they coming to my house at this time? Mason was panicking. He shoved Luna into the wardrobe. Then he got dressed and lay back down on the bed. My mother-in-law sent me a voice message at the door, "Sienna, I order you to come home immediately." I typed back to her, "Mom, is there an emergency? I'm not available right now." "Mother-in-law, you better come back right now. Today you must explain everything to me. Why have you been spending money so fast lately?" Me, "Oh, then I'll unlock the door for you remotely first. You go check on Mason in the bedroom." With a click, the door opened. Mother-in-law came in with father-in-law. They headed straight to the bedroom and, seeing Mason lying on the therapy bed like a dead pig, burst into tears and rushed over to him. It's always like this, as if their son had just become a vegetable. 5 minutes later, I sneaked out of the guest room. I deliberately opened and closed the door at the entrance, pretending I had just come in. My mother-in-law stormed out of the bedroom, unleashing a barrage of curses at me. You spendthrift, tell me, the money I gave for my son's nutrition, how did it disappear as soon as it was deposited? Where did you spend it? I was so scared that I kept stepping back. I haven't touched a single cent. How is that possible? That card belongs only to you. If you didn't use it, could it be that my son got up and spent it all? I hung my head. Not using it means not using it. Who knows if you even put the money in there in the first place? My mother-in-law stomped her foot in anger. Nonsense. That money is what the two of us old folks saved to raise our son, and you, a woman, are going to spend it all. You can't even have a child, and you can't take care of your own husband. Honestly, I think you should just get a divorce from my son. I suddenly looked up. What? Divorce? I'm more than willing. But my in-laws thought I was scared. Just wait, we will definitely find out where this money went. If you don't confess honestly, we'll kick you out of our family. I dropped to my knees in front of my mother-in-law, crying and pleading, Mom, please, you have to find out the truth. I think you secretly spent the money and are using me as a scapegoat in front of Dad. My mother-in-law was so angry her face twisted. What did you say? How dare you accuse me falsely? Just wait and see. She stormed off, dragging her father-in-law and slamming the door behind her. I turned my face toward the bedroom. Just now, the detective agency told me that Luna's husband, Dylan, had started keeping an eye on her. She would find an excuse to sneak out during the day and then rush back home before Dylan got off work at night. Dylan didn't find any flaws, nor could he figure out who the cheating partner was, so he remained silent. So, if I keep Luna at my place all night, wouldn't that help Dylan out? Haha, it's settled then. I dragged my feet into the bedroom. Tucked Mason in. Your mother doesn't even help you get ready. Sigh, since I took the day off today, I won't be going to work. I'll stay and keep you company. No sooner had I finished speaking than I heard a faint rustling from inside the wardrobe. Is Luna panicking? She must be desperate to find a way to escape from my house quickly. Well, I absolutely cannot let her succeed. So, I walked over to the wardrobe. I could clearly feel Mason half sitting up behind me. I pushed the wardrobe door. The sliding track on this wardrobe seems to have broken recently. It keeps sliding open on its own. I suddenly turned around. Mason's body was stiff, eyes closed, lying on the therapy bed. Really scary, like it's haunted. The wardrobe door just opens by itself all the time. With that, I took a small lock from the drawer. Click. I locked the wardrobe shut. The lock on this wardrobe was originally bought by my mother-in-law. She was afraid I would steal the few worthless pieces of jewelry she had hidden inside. Later, Mason became a vegetable. They didn't want to take care of him and quietly moved out of this home. I slipped the key into my pocket and turned on the TV. Honey, I'm free to keep you company today. Let's watch a drama together. Mason wanted to clench his fist, but after several attempts, he gave up. Maybe it wasn't giving up, perhaps his body had already started to malfunction? I smiled and said, it's only a little past 2 now, and this drama has over 50 episodes. Let's stay up all night to finish it. A loud thud came from the wardrobe. I pretended not to hear it. And so, I stayed awake all night. I also ordered some delicious takeout, the aroma lingering in the wardrobe all night long. I wonder what Luna thinks inside the wardrobe. Has she already mastered jiu-jitsu? The next morning at 8, I turned off the TV. I patted Mason and said, Hey, honey, I forgot to give you a bath. I'm going to the guest room to catch some sleep. I'll wash you after I wake up. I pretended to be casual and deliberately tossed the wardrobe key onto the floor. Then I took out my phone and checked the message sent to me by the detective agency. Dylan, Luna's husband, is already frantic. He's been searching for Luna all night, roaring madly, determined to tear Luna's lover to pieces no matter what. This is truly a drama worth looking forward to. I took a shower. Through the sound of the water, I clearly heard the front door of the house make a noise. All right, Luna ran away. I can still rest for 3 or 4 hours. But if Luna doesn't tell Dylan who her lover is today, she'll be the one suffering. I had a sound sleep, only to be woken up by a call from the detective. Miss Sienna, Dylan is causing a scene at home. He beat Luna until her face was bruised and demanded she take him to her lover. I covered my mouth to laugh, not daring to make a sound. The detective remained professional, coldly continuing to describe, I saw him grabbing Luna by the hair and getting into the car, which was heading to your house. Be careful. I stifled my laughter. Okay, thanks, I understand. After hanging up the phone, I got up and walked into the bedroom. I noticed that the dumbbells in the corner had been moved. Then I turned on my phone and switched it to silent. The footage from the surveillance was truly shocking. Mason actually got up to work out while I was asleep. Was he trying to compete with Dylan? In the footage, his movements were clumsy. He clearly lacked the strength to handle the exercise equipment in front of him. Yet he still struggled, forcing himself on. I shook my head. All the signs of weakness in his body perfectly matched what the doctor had said about a sports injury. It seemed that before long, he was going to become disabled. I cleared my throat softly and walked over to him. Come on, honey, let me help you take a bath. I stripped off his clothes, ready to push him toward the bathroom. But just as we reached the living room, the front door was slammed open fiercely. Open up. Open the door for me. I ran excitedly to open the door. Who is it? Sure enough, standing outside were the fierce-looking Dylan and the wild, disheveled Luna. I pretended to be clueless. May I ask who you are? Get out of my way. Luna, get in here right now. Dylan shoved me and yanked Luna by the hair, throwing her into the living room. Dylan glared at me fiercely. Call your husband Mason out here. I opened my mouth wide, my eyebrows arching to the sky. Huh? Call who? He growled even more fiercely. Hurry up and call him out. Otherwise, I'll beat you up along with him today. I stepped back 2 paces, stretched out my arm, and pointed at the mobile therapy bed 2 meters away, saying, he's right there. 4 eyes simultaneously followed the direction of my finger. In my living room, bathed in bright sunlight, the daylight filtered through the white lace curtains, casting mottled patterns on the naked Mason. I shuffled my feet sideways. What do you want with my husband? He's a vegetable. What? Dylan looked at me dumbfounded and incredulous. I nodded. He's been a vegetable for 2 years, everyone in the neighborhood knows. Luna dropped to her knees, clutching Dylan's pant leg tightly. Begging pitifully, honey, I'm not lying to you, it really was him. Dylan waved his hand and pinned her down like the 5-finger mountain. Do you take me for a fool? How could a vegetable mess with you? Luna shook her head repeatedly. No, honey, Mason has already awakened. The first thing he did when he woke up was look for me. It really was him, I have no one else, I swear to God, it was him. I trembled all over as I walked up to her. What nonsense are you talking about? Do you think I don't know whether my husband has woken up? I stay by his side every day, taking care of him. That day, when I was giving him a bath, he collapsed to the floor, his nose was bleeding, and he didn't even react. How dare you say he's awake? Luna suddenly jumped up. He is awake. He doesn't love you at all. He said he loves me. He's faking it. I stomped my foot. I don't believe it. It's impossible. Dylan shoved both of us aside. Whether he's faking it or not, I'll find out with one try. He strode forward, covering the distance in just a few quick steps. I was thrilled. Mason, let's see how long you can keep up the act. Dylan grabbed Mason's head with both hands and swung it counterclockwise. Mason was thrown into the air like a shot put. Dylan spun around several times on the spot, then suddenly let go. Mason, completely naked, was slammed straight against the wall. Mason didn't utter a single word, sliding down to the floor like a lifeless lump of flesh. Dylan was furious beyond words. He stormed up to Luna and yanked her up like pulling a green onion. You call this waking up? If you don't tell me who your lover is today, I'll kill you. Luna cried, snot and tears streaming down her face. It's no one else, it's him, it's him. I even know the code to his fingerprint lock. Oh, right. Dylan frowned deeply. What else? Luna gave a bitter smile. Every night he uses his wife's phone to transfer money to me. It's already been over 10,000. What? You're Luna? Suddenly, the mother-in-law's voice came from the doorway. I turned my face to look. Hey, I forgot to close the door just now. Grandpa and Grandma rushed in a flurry. Grandma looked down and stared at Luna. What is your relationship with my daughter-in-law? Tell me. Why did she transfer our money to your account? I anxiously waved my hands. I didn't, Mom, I don't even know her. She's Mason's ex-girlfriend. Grandma was stunned, Grandpa was stunned. I let my hands drop helplessly. It's not my fault, maybe she came to steal money from the house. She said she knows our family's password. Grandma slapped Luna across the face. You thief. My son is already in a vegetative state, and you still won't let him go. Pay back the money. The whole group suddenly erupted into chaos, drawing a crowd of neighbors to gather outside my house. Someone handed me a handful of sunflower seeds. I cracked them open one by one, my eyes fixed intently on Mason's twisted posture. Grandma's face flushed. Luna's face flushed even more. Just as things were getting lively, Mason suddenly spoke up. Dad. Mom, stop, please, stop fighting. At that, the nosy crowd craned their necks even further. He's really awake? TSK, looks like he really cheated. Ugh. He's awake, yet he'd rather cheat than tell his wife. Sienna, divorce him. A scoundrel who can't control his lower half, wakes up and cheats. I waved my arm, tossed the sunflower seeds into the air. He dropped to his knees with a thud and began to wail. Oh heavens! What misfortune has befallen this family? What sin have I committed? Mason, are you even human? Boo-hoo! The in-laws were both shocked and delighted, rushing over to dress him and shower him with hugs and kisses. Kneeling nearby, Luna pounded her chest. Mason, you've finally decided to help me. My body is finally clear. But none of these people saw Dylan's eyes flash with a fierce light, his fists clenched so tightly they cracked. Mason was helped up by his parents, trembling as he said to me, I want a divorce. A divorce. He called Luna into his arms with overwhelming tenderness. Luna, my Luna, I'm so sorry you've been wronged. Luna cried miserably. I thought you didn't care about me anymore. I thought you didn't want me. The two were lost in their own world, oblivious to the fact that Dylan was coming at them with a flying kick. The kick was heavy, landing directly on Mason's groin. He held in pain. The three of them, my in-laws and Luna, couldn't break free from the strong man. Fortunately, the police arrived just in time, otherwise, I really feared that before the divorce was finalized, I would become a widow. In that case, I wouldn't gain a single benefit. I still have to share the small amount of property Mason owns with my in-laws. This house isn't even in his name. If he dies, it won't bring me any benefit at all. But if he doesn't die, then I am the victim of the marriage. With so many people watching, he is undoubtedly the one at fault in the marriage. Even though our shared assets are minimal, I took care of him for 2 years, and with his confirmed infidelity, he owes me compensation for emotional damages. A month later, I obtained a medical certificate regarding my mental health. Mason and I faced off in court. He had no choice but to compensate me with $800,000 for emotional damages. I calculated it, over the past 2 years, the medical expenses I spent on him totaled around $200,000. This deal wasn't a loss, but it still didn't feel satisfying enough. I watched his staggering figure and did the math. According to the doctor, it's probably just these couple of months left, right? Getting remarried then, that would be really nice. Luna was thoroughly beaten by Dylan. In the end, the two still parted on bad terms. She quickly went with Mason to get their marriage certificate. Mason proudly showed off on his social media the baby just conceived in his new wife's belly. I laughed and commented to him, she's only with you because of your money, can't you see that? 2 days later, Mason posted a new update on his social media. It was a property notarization document, listing the house under Mason and Luna's names as joint marital property. The other party is the sole heir to my property. A sudden image flashed through my mind. That day, when Dylan left my house, he took the sharpest fruit knife I owned. That day, I signed up for a boxing class. The manager pointed to the photo of the gold medal coach at the entrance and said to me, "Coach Dylan has won countless awards. He's been free a lot lately, so why not have him teach your class?" I felt a cold gaze cast from behind me. I smiled and shook my head at the manager. "No need, I prefer someone young and energetic. I think this one looks good." I placed my phone on the front desk, changed into my gear, and got ready for class. That familiar figure watched me walk away, then secretly picked up my phone. I heard Luna blocked all of Dylan's contacts. Now he's like a headless fly. And, as luck would have it, my phone has no password. During the break, I saw him put on his jacket and rush out of the boxing gym. "Hey, focus. For the first class, we'll work on the basics, and then I'll teach you some more self-defense techniques." "Okay." I nodded and put on the boxing gloves. After class, my ex-mother-in-law called me. Crying and whining, she complained, "Oh no, this is bad, really bad. Sienna, you're the only daughter-in-law I recognize. Please come save me. Hurry." I casually asked for the details. It turned out that Dylan knew Luna was pregnant and was furious. He grabbed a fruit knife and stabbed straight into Luna's abdomen. At this point, Luna was in very bad shape, lying in the hospital receiving emergency treatment. Mason's health has been terrible lately. He can't stand steadily, nor can he walk properly. Only then did he think of going to the hospital to see a doctor. But before the test results came back, his new wife had already gotten into trouble. While anxiously waiting outside the emergency room, he suddenly collapsed to the ground. No matter who tried to help, he couldn't be lifted up. At that moment, his own test results happened to come in. Sure enough, after the coma patient woke up, excessive intense exercise caused a sports injury. Now even the gods descending to the mortal world couldn't turn the tide. Mason was paralyzed. I let out a long sigh and asked my former mother-in-law, "Paralyzed from the waist down?" She cried even harder, "No, from the neck down, completely paralyzed." I hurried to the hospital, my spirits unexpectedly high. I heard Luna was already beyond help, but Mason was also being resuscitated, so I couldn't even see her one last time. Her former in-laws even cursed her as a jinx, saying she deserved to die, and refused to come to see her off. I sat by her bedside, gently stroking her forehead. How foolish you are. If you had just told me openly, I would have left immediately. But no, you had to conspire with Mason against me. See, harming others only ends up harming yourself." Luna gasped for breath and forced out a question. You knew all along, knew he would be paralyzed." I nodded. "Shoo. You better accumulate some virtue. Soon you'll be reincarnated. Be careful what you say and what you don't say." She was overwhelmed with emotion. I want to see Grandma." I smiled and shook my head. "She said you're a jinx, telling you to hurry to hell. She even begged me to remarry Mason." Guess what? I agreed. I stood up, not giving her a chance to say another word. Of course, she was furious. She had once swindled over 10,000 yuan from my pocket. But now, her apartment had become the bargaining chip for me to remarry. My mother-in-law said, if she dies, my son is the heir to the inheritance. Both of them have made wills. I'll transfer that apartment solely to your name. Will you come back and take care of Mason? I said I would think about it. Over 10,000, after a whole lot of hassle, it turned into a house. God, you really have opened your eyes. But I never expected there would be an unexpected surprise. Dylan didn't know Luna was dying. He truly loved this woman. He actually gave all his property to Luna, then quietly hanged himself. Before Luna died, she became a little rich woman. Unfortunately, she passed away 2 days later. Truly a pair of ill-fated lovers, still able to walk hand in hand on the road to the afterlife. With Luna's parents both deceased, the inheritance left to Mason amounted to at least 10 million. Mason lay on the hospital bed, his face pale. I asked a friend to give me some invisible makeup. My complexion was pale with a bluish tint, my eye sockets dark and red. Quite the pitiful, unwanted look. The moment he saw me, his mouth opened and closed, but his body remained motionless. Sienna. I'm sorry. I've been waiting to hear those words for over 2 years. But after waiting so long, they don't sound as sweet anymore. Still, I have to play along. After all, I'm used to living in that house of his. To be honest, I want it. I cried, hesitantly walking over to him. Grabbing his hand tightly, I said, "Stop talking. What couple hasn't weathered storms together?" His eyes flickered, filled with emotion. Sienna. I covered his mouth, really wanting to suffocate him right then and there. Stop talking, husband, really stop. I don't want to recall those bad memories. You know, after all this time, I only hope you can come back to your senses. Even if you don't want me anymore, I just want you to be awake, to be happy. Sob, sob, sob. Don't you hate me? Hate you for what? Nothing is greater than life and death. From the day you had the accident, I swore I would trade a lifetime of my own happiness just for you to wake up. Heaven must have heard my wish and made my dream come true. Just listen and don't take it seriously. Oh no, he actually believed it. Mom. Did you hear that? I really made a mistake, I shouldn't have left Sienna. My mother-in-law and father-in-law pretended to wipe away tears on the side. In reality, they were just eager for me to remarry quickly, so they wouldn't have to take care of a disobedient son. Now I can talk, which is much less of a burden than being a vegetable back then. Sienna, as long as you're willing to remarry me, the house we lived in together will be transferred to your name immediately. I suddenly looked up. Really? Are Mom and Dad okay with that? My parents-in-law nodded repeatedly, yes. Yes. I threw myself onto Mason, crying tears of joy. Mine, it's all mine. Mason and I remarried. The house he owned before was transferred solely into my name. My in-laws never got along with Mason anyway, and now that the last house is sold, they've taken off to travel the world. That day, the house was quiet. I scrolled through videos on my phone app and walked over to Mason. Honey, want to watch a video together? Mason's eyes softened warmly. Sure, whatever you want to watch, I'll watch with you. I reclined his chair back. Held the phone up to his eyes. On the screen, the scene showed him making love to Luna. But when he saw these, his expression grew increasingly grim. He glanced at me sideways, unable to turn his neck. You knew all along, so you knew from the start. I leaned my face close to his, afraid he might miss every one of my gloating expressions. Yeah. You caught me. I laughed as I patted his paralyzed body. I knew all along. You get up in the middle of the night every day to transfer money to her, you call me a frumpy old hag while I'm sound asleep, you make love to her the next day, otherwise, why would I be scrubbing your back? Ha ha ha. Did you hurt yourself when you fell that day? He was so angry he gritted his teeth. But I jumped on him, grabbed a handful of sunflower seeds, eating them while flicking the shells onto his face. How did Dylan find out his wife was cheating? Haven't you thought about that at all? I looked coldly at him, whose face was gradually turning red. He wanted to cry but had no tears, and he never spoke another word again. I took 2 bath towels out of my pocket. Honey, tonight I'll scrub you down. He never had a good day again. 2 months later, he began a hunger strike. The doctor said his mental state was not good. His physical functions were also rapidly deteriorating day by day. I called my parents-in-law to inform them of the situation. They told me to handle it as I saw fit. 6 months later, he passed away. The dual blows to his mind and body finally made him let go and leave this world. The doctor said it was because of despair. As for the reason for the despair, it wasn't because of me, nor because of his parents. It was because there was no hope. Let's go. I'll enjoy this world well on your behalf. After all, right now, I'm super rich. I scattered a handful of yellow paper into the sky. I wrote the names of 3 people on each sheet of paper. I also burned dumbbells for Mason. For Dylan, I burned a pair of boxing gloves. As for Luna, I was even more determined not to shortchange her. I burned the thing she loved most in life. 10 paralyzed paper men.